Hey everyone, it's Desiree, and I am here with another Altenew Paint-A-Flower, and this one's the Hydrangea. Yeah, I got some catching up to do. But instead of using my colored pencils, as I have been, I actually felt the need to do some watercoloring. That's something that I do enjoy as well, and I want to continue to practice. So I did a couple different things. This, of course, is what the stamp set looks like. It's a beautiful image. And then, of course, I'm going to be using the Altenew Pan Set. I'm increasingly becoming a fan of this pan set and how the watercolors do react. So I will be, however, you will be able to see my colored pencils come in because I can't not bring them in. So I'm going to grab the image and I'm going to put it in my stamp positioning tool here. And the watercolor that I am, or the watercolor paper that I'm using is actually by Dick Blick, and it is their watercolor block, the 7x10, and it is a hot press. I usually do like a cold press, but again, wanted to try some new things. I use the Altenew Obsidian ink to stamp my image. I'm just adding some water. Wasn't quite sure where I was going to go with the colors, but I'm looking at the chart that I have above me, and I'm going to start with the leaves. Now I am going to keep all of the coloring in so that you will see it, and it is extremely sped up. So for me, when I watercolor, I do put the lightest color down first. I like to do what I'm finding I'm comfortable with is doing layers, if that makes sense. You know, it's almost like how we make, work with our alcohol markers or our colored pencils. We use them in layers to get those blends out. So I put down the solid layer of the green, and now I'm coming in with a purple, and it's kind of a mixture. And then I'm going to drop that same color down to the center of the flowers. But I've got this wash that's going across the flowers completely. I'm looking to put the darkest color in the center so that I can have that shade. That's where I want those shades to be. So I'm kind of looking at this flower a little differently. A little bit. And that's the beauty of this. We can. We absolutely can. Thank goodness, right? Yay! The brush that I'm using is by Nuvo, and it's from their collection. You can buy a set, I think it was like 8 or 10 brushes. I do like them. They're very firm with the bristles, and that's something that I do look for. I don't look for a soft bristle brush. I tend to go all over the place when it comes to those. So now I'm coming back in with my deeper tones, looking at where those shadows would be, and just dropping the color in. I do find that I am a dropper of the color, mainly because I just love watching the color move and letting it do the work. We say that with pattern paper. Let the pattern paper do the work. That does the work for you. Mat it. Put it on your card and add a sentiment, and you have a beautiful card. I kind of do that with watercolors. Let them do the work. By just dropping that color in while it's still wet, the fibers are still wet, it moves on its own. And I love sometimes the movement that it takes. I will come back and just smooth out that line just a little bit so that I don't have that harsh line. Sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't. So really, it all depends on what I'm looking for when it comes to this. You do notice that I did use, as I said before, the obsidian black. So you are seeing the black lines in this. I'm not doing a no coloring. I do want to do that eventually, but with watercolor, that's very scary. This is actually one of the first times that I did not emboss the image. I like to emboss the image because it just gives you that barrier Again, it's all about control for me. Got to control it. But I felt really comfortable with this, so that was kind of cool. I made another mixture there. I just added some of the blue to the purple, again, keeping the same colors that I'm using before and just expanding off of them. I learned that from Lindsay, the frugal character. So I'm just now dropping, I used a spray bottle just to mist my image, and now I'm dropping those darker colors where the center of the flower is. And again, letting that take off throughout the piece. Going to set that aside to dry. And now I'm going to add my splatters. So I'm just making sure I'm going to the outside. I'm not worried about covering up the image so much. I'm okay if something gets in there. I'm going to come in and just blot some of the splatters away that did get on top of the image, and I'm going to let the others dry on their own. So I've grabbed 2 of my colored pencils. Now these are actually the Prismacolor Scholar Pencils. So these are like the student grade of the Prismacolor, considered the artist grade, and I love them just as much. And I grabbed a deep purple and my indigo blue. So again, we've heard this term before from another, the scary darks. So I'm actually flicking those darks in the center of each of these flowers, the prominent flowers. And I'm mainly hitting the blue with those with a little bit of purple. Those that are in the background, I'm hitting with just the purple, so that they're getting some shading as well. I do apologize. For some reason, I'm not quite sure what my camera did, or my phone. I kind of went off to the side here, and it looks very fuzzy. So I do apologize. I used my 2-inch film tape that I get from Uline. It is very unforgiving because it is super strong. But I do like to use that tape after I watercolor. It will flatten out my piece. I did place it on a double mat. I chose one of the blue shades and also the black, as my sentiment will be black on a piece of black cardstock, just to emphasize the flower, because again, that's outlined in black as well. I added some purple gems by Pretty Pink Posh. And that is our card for the day. So I do hope you enjoy this. I hope I gave you some tips and tricks, like I hope I always do. All the products that I used, as always, will be listed down below. And if you have any questions, please make sure you put those down below, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. If you haven't already subscribed, I'd love you to hit that button, see what comes next in the paper crafting world. Continue to stay safe and healthy. But by all means, remember what's most important for me. Always be creative. Till next time, guys.